Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. It's another chilly Sunday, full of snow. But it is beautiful out. It's just a little chilly. Kind of like the market right now. Well, is it? I don't know. The sentiment kind of changed. This last week, a little volatile, and I noticed that the sentiment changed a little bit. Since we didn't have a great week, we didn't see Bitcoin form a new high. We didn't see the altcoins rally and form new highs. So what's going on? Is the Christmas rally canceled? Is it over? Well, in this video, let me share something very, very interesting. Something that I looked up right before coming out here and walking with you guys. Something that happened in 2020 that may happen again this final week and leading up to the first week of January. So let me share with you guys what I discovered. And overall, let me share with you guys what I'm thinking. And this whole thing about last week and the sentiment and how somehow it changed negative. And it really shouldn't have. So let me just dive right in. All right, so as I'm filming this right now, Bitcoin is right around like 96,000, right? So for many, this was a really big disappointment last week, right? What happened last week? We had a big FOMC meeting that happened on Wednesday, and it really brought markets down. Not just Bitcoin and crypto, but the entire stock market. The broader market went down because Powell was a little hawkish. He did cut the Fed fund rate by 25 basis points, but he mentioned about how the discussion, the governors talked about how maybe they should not have cut, and that's because inflation has started coming up, start creeping up. And next year they're going to be more cautious, and they only want to cut rates twice next year. That's about it. But it like really spooked the markets. So tech really tanked after that. So you saw everything. Nvidia and Microsoft and Google, Amazon, Tesla really started tanking after that, right? Bitcoin came down from its high of 108,000, and a lot of crypto, the alts, started tanking after that, and everything just started tanking. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now things have come back down from their high. So that's what happened, right? And I did say this. I did say prior to that, that FOMC meetings, generally speaking, do bring volatility. They always do. Even prior to this one, all the prior ones before, they would always bring some kind of volatility, some kind of thing. It doesn't matter what Powell says, it always does something. Right, whether he's cutting rates, raising rates, whatever, Wall Street always digests it the wrong way. And then the day of and the day afterwards, usually you get some volatile movement. And then usually by Friday, you recover. Saturday, you do a little bit of recovery. But this time around, it seemed like we didn't really get that kind of recovery. We just kept, we went down and we kind of stuck with it, right? So it was expected, but I guess what was unexpected is we didn't get that relief rally. Well, at least not yet. But the honest reality is, as it relates to Bitcoin and crypto, we didn't get reset all that much. And I've been saying this during my last few videos. I know a lot of people turn really negative. But the honest reality is we got reset back like a week or two. We started out December in the 90s. We started out November in the low 90s. We didn't break into the hundreds until the second or third week of December, right? So, yeah, even though we had a really good week or two where it seemed like Bitcoin and crypto just kept rallying up and up every single day, now we have corrected. Now we have come down a little bit. It's not like all gains have been erased. Yeah, sure, we might be at 96 now, but we just been reset back 2 weeks. So it's not like we got reset back 3 months ago or 6 months ago. So that's why I know we didn't form a new high this last week. Yes, it's disappointing, but like the sentiment should not have changed that bearish last week. So yeah, it was a little strange. I know it's a little disappointing, but hey, just like in October and November, like I said, during those months, it's not over until it's over. December's not over yet. We still have this final week, right? But again, just to re-emphasize to those that have turned really bearish, just keep in mind that we didn't reset all that much. Yes, we did come down. Yes, we didn't go and break a new high yet, but we will, right? As long as you didn't panic dump, you didn't panic sell or get liquidated completely, you're still in a good spot. Just continue to hodl, and we'll get back to our previous high and breaking a new high. There's zero worry at this point. Ever since we broke into the 90s, I've said there should be no reason for panic. Bitcoin in the 90s and even 100s, there should be no worry. At 90s or 100 plus, dips are gifts. That's really it. There's no other way to view it. We're not in our 60s. We're not in our 70s. At this point in time, there should be no question. Supply shock is in factor. The institutions, countries, public trade companies, they are buying. If they weren't, we wouldn't be in our 90s or 100s, right? Corrections are going to happen. Volatility is going to be a thing. They always will. You can't expect things to go up forever, but as long as you recognize that we're not going to go up in a straight line forever, there will be times where we dip, and you embrace those moments, and you don't get panicked, you don't get fearful, and you don't dump. You're good, right? You're good. Now, I recognize that a lot of people that are holding heavily into alts, they're more panicked, more worried, because alts definitely have dumped more, way more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin may be down like maybe 5-10%, but alts, a lot of alts from their top are now down like 15-20%. I recognize that, but you got to take the good and the bad. You got to take the bad with the good with alts, right? Alts have gone up so fast within the last few weeks, so if they cracked, they're going to correct just as much. This is why I've always said, don't ignore Bitcoin. Have Bitcoin in your portfolio for stability and for growth. So if you go very heavy into alts because you like the growth, but when they correct, you have to withstand the volatility too. When they correct, they're going to correct hard, and you don't have Bitcoin in your portfolio, then you're going to have to get used to those 15, 20, 25% dips too, right? So that's why I talk so much about Bitcoin. That's why you guys watching me, you'll notice that every single stream, I never not talk about Bitcoin. Half or 75% of what I talk about every single time is Bitcoin. And I advise people to follow the 50-25-25 rule, which is to have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. Again, for that stability, for that strength, and even for that growth. And when we do have these volatile moments, you'll be glad that you have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. And my DCA portfolio that I've been showing you guys every Wednesday night, 50% in Bitcoin. It works, right? But again, when it comes to alts, you take the bad with the good. And when it's good, it's really good. When things go up, they're really good, right? And the narratives I've been talking about, you know, it's not like they've changed all of a sudden. Yeah, the price have changed, but the narratives are still good. So anything that have been hot in the last month or so, continue to stay the course. Those American-based companies, right? The ones that have done very well in the last few months, I think they're still going to continue to do well. Ripple is still doing their thing. They launched their stable coin. It's still early, but I think that's going to do very well for Ripple, make them a lot of money. I know Ripple is still planning their IPO. They're still making partnerships, you know, trying to get into RWA space. They're still doing a lot of stuff, right? And Hedera is doing their thing. Recently they announced, you know, they have a partnership with NVIDIA and Intel, trying to do certification with AI. I mean, so they're doing their thing. I mean, a lot of these projects, you know, they're still building, right? So fundamentally, nothing has changed. If anything, they have gotten stronger, but the price of their coins have gotten cheaper. So if you love them at their high, you should love them a lot more now that they're discounted 15 or 20%, right? But most retail investors don't view it that way, right? Now that things have come down, people are like, do I like them now? Or is there something going on? You know, FOMO always exists at top. FOMO doesn't exist when things are coming down. That's the weird part. But fundamentally, nothing has changed within the last week or two. So that's the thing, right? So the coins that you love, this is the time to be DCAing, right? This is really a golden opportunity to pick up. Same thing with SUI. Last week I talked about SUI and how I think there's a big potential there for 2025. They really haven't come down much. They did dip a little bit, but they always seem to recover really fast. But yeah, fundamentally with SUI, I don't think anything has changed. They're a little bit cheaper now. I think they're going to do great things in 2025 still. Nothing has changed with them. Even Solana. Solana has dipped quite a lot since their high, right? A lot of people started getting worried about Solana. A lot of people ask me about Solana, like, what do you think about Solana? Are they being suppressed? What's going on? You know, I could tell a lot of people are getting worried, antsy about Solana since they haven't really moved all that much right now. Really nothing. Fundamentally, they're just as strong, if not stronger. I talk about them all the time. If you look at their metrics is strong as hell. Volume and usage and number of users, sky high. But their price is lower than their previous high. I know that. But if you love Solana at 260, you should love them a whole lot more right now. I think they're like at 180s right now. No reason why you should love them less now. I still maintain that they are an Ethereum killer, and they're going to do very well in 2025. And I think ETFs will go change the game in 2025. There are a lot. I mentioned about Ripple, right? There is going to be an XRP ETF. There's probably going to be a Solana ETF. I'm pretty sure that's a certainty. There may be other ETFs, like, you know, I hear there's like a Hedera ETF, and there might even be like, I don't know, some other ETF, and there might be like ETF bundles and stuff like that. Seeing how well Bitcoin ETFs are doing, and now there's going to be bundled Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs. I think ETFs are going to be like huge in 2025. So, yeah, I still love Solana, and I think all the Solana ecosystem dApps are going to do very well. The memes, of course, are still doing well. That's not going to change. But yeah, there's so many others, you know, that are doing well. If you look at usage and just their ecosystem, but if you look at price, obviously, over the last week or two, things have gotten a whole lot cheaper. You gotta view it, the opportunity as a gift. We know things are gonna get better. This is certainly not top. I saw the other day, someone was saying, oh, I hope 108 is not the top of this cycle. And you know, I didn't want to be mean about it, but I'm like, this has nothing to do with hope. 108,000 certainly is not top. This has nothing to do with hope. You just have to put facts together. You got to put two and two together. If you've watched anything I said over the course of the last year or two or three, and you look at what I've been talking about in terms of adoption, maturity, who's getting involved, what's going to be happening, especially in 2025, you put it all together, you know for certainty that 108 is not top. That's for sure. So that's all. Hopefully most of you guys are staying strong. Most of you guys are not getting bearish. I just know that, yeah, last week I noticed a lot of the sentiment on live chat changed a little bit. So hopefully most of you guys are not like that. I know some of you guys are leverage traders. I am too, right? A lot of degens out there. Last week was pretty bad for leverage, especially when we had that huge fall down 92. It wasn't just for longs, it was for shorts too. We had a lot of up and downs. It always happens, right? I mentioned that too. Market tends to find ways to clear people out, clear the leverage out both ways, and it was tough. That's why I advise people to go with small leverage. 2-3x, I think you would have been okay, but anything above that, 4, 5, 10, anything above that, you would have been wiped out. There's no way you would have survived unless you set very small stop gaps, which is advisable. But still, when you're playing on leverage, be careful. And something I've learned is don't try to revenge trade. That is very dangerous. So when you lost let's say you lost something, or you lost a decent amount, you try to revenge trade back, thinking that you're going to, like, you know, or avenge trade yourself, or avenge yourself and trade it back. That's when it becomes dangerous, and you can end up losing more. I've tried to do that a couple times and end up losing even more money. So don't do that. So again, for leverage traders, sometimes you just gotta learn when to cut your losses, Even if you lost a lot, sometimes you just got to know when to just like call it a day and say enough is enough. Today's not my day. I gotta step away. Tomorrow's another day, and that's it. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. But again, small leverage, I feel like it's the way to go. Not big leverage, unless you're just a true degen, or you really know what you're doing, or you're just like gambling for fun or whatever. The last thing I start out with, I want to share with you guys, and this is very encouraging, and it could happen. It doesn't mean it will, but it could. I decided to look up, starting December 23rd, back in 2020, December 2020. I looked up what happened in December 2023. That was when Bitcoin was around $23,000. So going forward, this was amazing. I don't even remember this happened. Starting December 23rd, 2023, going all the way until January 8th. Basically for 2 weeks, we had 2 weeks of up, non-stop up, without a single day of down. And then we finally corrected after January 8th. But we went up straight 75% for 2 weeks. That's a Santa rally. We went from 23,000, roughly 23,000, and we stopped at $44,000. We went up 74% before correcting. That was back in 2020, the last halving year. That was insane. Insane. That was the last halving year. That was during COVID too. So we'll see. That's tomorrow, guys. Even though last week wasn't all that great, but we are entering the final week. Well, the final week of December, and we got New Year's. And just because December ends doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. If you look at these years, especially 2020 ended, the last 3 months were great, and then the first 3 months of 2021 were fantastic too. So that was the last halving year. This is the halving year too. If we end December great, doesn't mean that January, February, March can't be great in 2025 too. So be ready. It could be fantastic. It doesn't mean that December ends and January is going to be like horrible, right? So I'm looking forward to this coming week, starting tomorrow, and we'll see how things are. We'll see how things go. And then we'll go from there. But again, the point of this video is don't be discouraged. It's not as bad as it seems. And continue to do what you guys are doing, right? Continue to hodl, DCA, and let the gains come to you. Don't ever panic. View things as a gift, really. Retrain your brain. If you're still panicking at this point, just retrain your brain. If you can't DCA, okay, I get it, right? I get it. If you can't DCA, well, then just continue to hodl. That's it. That's it. I get it. You may not have infinite amount of money. You may not have any dry powder on the side. Then just continue to hodl. That's it. The worst thing you could do right now is to panic sell and then regret it later. That's really it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see how the market is, and we'll see how the market reacts this week. It'll be a very interesting week with Christmas coming up. All right, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.